Everybody, welcome back. Got a beginners type video for you. Voltage Sauce, someone I want to help promote, is helping folks kind of understand some aspects of the game that are, we'll call beginner starter type. Doing a really good job. We'll have his link to his Discord in the description below. They put together an infographic that's got kind of the pros and cons for many of the teams that you typically hear about, and who should I start building right away? I'm a beginner, I don't know. So now, while I honestly have a plan to hopefully do something like this, Voltage is already kind of there helping people, pushing along a lot of this beginner stuff, and I want to help promote that as much as I can. Seems like a good player, smart, and honestly, the part I really like about this is the fact that there are some pros and cons for all of this. So I want to share the infographic, you know, kind of just promote this a little bit, promote his community. I think it's good to have like a nice community for a lot of different people, and I'll go through the infographic a little bit. I'm going to give it kind of my raw, honest opinion as I go through. You know, obviously it's been a long time since I've been a beginner, but I wanted to give them a good shout out, say, hey guys, like, look, go check out some of the work here. They are trying to help. They're doing things to try to, you know, encourage beginners to focus on this area or that area, or say, hey, you got any questions, we can talk to you about it. It's really kind of a nice stop. So there's a lot of us in the community trying to help. This is one that I want to specifically bring up and kind of share with you guys. So hopefully, if you're a beginner, you can check it out and it'll help. And the infographic we'll get into here in a minute, and we'll go through that. And we'll see what if you think you agree with the pros and the cons, and I'll give some of my commentary as I go through as well. It's going to be pretty raw. I went through it briefly, so it's kind of no plans here. Just going to read it. I'm just going to see how it is. So anyway, it's solid. So we'll check it out right now.
Bring me WolverThor!
Okay, so this is the infographic in general. You can see kind of high level, kind of what they've got here. They've got some starter teams here in orange on the left-hand side. They've got some secondary teams in yellow on the right. And then they've kind of got what it looks to be what they'll call a unique team, which is the symbiotes. They've got a nice legend here talking about where you can get some of these characters at. So you can see, like, with this, and I'll go in much more detail when you can see this on the close-up version. But these little icons are showing where you can kind of get these tunes from. And they've got a nice star here where it says legendary, required for the team to be effective. So you can see that with like Star-Lord and Invisible Woman, and it looks like Magneto they've got over here for Brotherhood. So they've got these teams all over the place, and they've got them broken down with some pros and some cons. And you can see their starter teams over here. They've got Defenders, Guardians, Asgardians, AIM, and you'll notice that in the Asgardians they've got a big money bag there, which makes sense because as Asgardians are kind of a paywall type team. As much as it'd be awesome to have them as a starter team, that is something that I would agree that they should have that there. That can be difficult otherwise. They've got AIM on there. That is somewhat, a lot of people kind of default to AIM as being the best starter team. I'm not sure I really fall into that category personally. I started talking about Sinister Six, mainly because you could get 2 legendaries out of them. They could, you know, give you a decent war team. And now that there's Doc Ock too, you know, it's kind of like, maybe you do want them built up. But this was before Doc Ock was in the game. So then, like I said, they've got this symbiotes in this unique section. And then their secondary teams, they've got Sinister Six. They've got Fantastic Four. And then they've got Supernatural. And then they've got Brotherhood / Marauders. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of go through each one of these teams, talking about what some of the pros and cons they've got on here, some of the comments they've got, and just kind of give a couple comments that I've personally feel as I'm reading these. But again, this is primarily to showcase Voltage Sauce and the beginners group that they've got, that they really try to, you know, help harness people and bring them along. Harness? No, maybe not harness, but bring you along. You know, put you in the nice safety nest, a safe space, so that you can feel comfortable talking and learning and all these type of things. And there are a lot of Discords that can do that, but Voltage Sauce is definitely trying to help with that, and I wanted to highlight that as best I could. So let's go look at the close-up version of this. Okay, so like I mentioned, they've got this legend here, where you've got kind of the raid refill or the energy refill icon, talking about campaigns. Easy farm, blitz store, raid store. They talk about a medium farm, arena store. Easy farms, good ranking is critical. Good arena ranking is critical. Totally agree. Then they got war store, which is a difficult farm and a very difficult farm indeed. Must focus farm for Dark Dimension 1. And then they've got the star for the legendary. So again, we mentioned the starter teams. One of the ones that you used to hear a lot was defenders. They've got pro on here, no legendary required, which is obviously great. They're easy to farm early, also true. You can see that there's 3 campaigns, an arena store, a blitz store, and a campaign. So they're all generally pretty easy to get. They're all in there early. The Dark Dimension 1, quick to enter. I would not do that with these at all. I do not bring up your defenders for anything at this point. They have fallen off so hard. They've even mentioned in their cons that they're low meta all modes and that they drop off very quickly. And they do have the comment here that Dark Dimension 1 is long to finish. So I would highly recommend against that, but it is a team that you hear about pretty often with, what about the defenders? And they were the early start team for a long time. And their comments here, just easy to unlock, team mechanics are simple. So it's, generally speaking, I agree. Their overall defenders, I think that they got a good list of the pros and cons here. Personally, I'm not doing defenders for my early start team. I'm getting the heroes that I need to get through, moving on to another team. The team that I personally really focused on when I started was Guardians. Now, it was a mixed bag a little bit with the arena side of things, but the Star-Lord, Groot, and Rocket combination are phenomenal. I used them to get through all the way to Dark Dimension 2. Obviously, I had also Shield Security and Minerva in there as well, but I really like this team. You've got some Blitz and Arena stored teams. You've got a Raid store. You've got the Legendary. Mantis isn't really doing much. Gamora's not doing much for you, but it's a solid team. The pros, the Star-Lord unlock. To unlock them, obviously, you need I think it's Ravagers and Guardians. Dark Dimension 2, the 3 tunes I already mentioned. They are average for all game modes, very true. They can cause some problems with War if you've got the right mix up there. And then they talk about Heroes, Nexus, and Cosmic Campaign. So you can use these characters in those 3 modes. So for an early player, that could be very helpful. Cons, it requires Star-Lord to be effective, who's a legendary. Missing Star-Lord unlock sets team back for months, totally agreed. Dark Dimension 1 requires 6-star for those characters as well. Dark Dimension 2, options average and outdated. That's very much true. A lot of people might not be using those teams anymore. You're probably looking at, symbiote type stuff. And their comments here, easy team to unlock early game, but is not effective without Star-Lord. Average in all game modes. Lays out the foundation for BKT, which is Groot, Rocket, Star-Lord, Minerva, and then Thanos, and now Vision, so which we're calling BKV. But it's a solid team. And then the 2 other starter teams they've got down here is Asgardians and AIM. Asgardians, like they've mentioned, they've got the giant money bags there. You've got some raid stores. You've got the campaign farming. You've got the war store for Sif, which is extremely difficult to get, and the arena store for Heimdall. So this team is a hard team to get. The money bags is really perfect here. Black Bolt unlock, which is meta. These are the pros. And Black Bolt is phenomenal. Great arena and raid team for Ultimus 6, very true. Ultimus 7 options. Yeah, I mean, Hela's really the only one you're going to really use in Ultimus 7 much, but if you're starting off trying to just get 30% in some of those, these guys might be pretty helpful. Meta War team defense, absolutely still one of the top 3-4 defenses in War, no matter regardless, because you have to use a good team to beat them still. Dark Dimension 2 and 3 options, that's absolutely true. I had Loki and Hela on mine. Yeti was huge into Thor, he loves him. All campaigns, absolutely no legendary required. Very cool. Cons, Hela and Loki need deeper nodes in campaigns, so it could be tough to get them. The Hela node requires level 70 city heroes, AIM, Mystic villains. That's a lot. So it can be difficult to farm her, so it might take a while. That's the part where it's like, level 70, is that really a starter team? I don't know. Maybe, to me, this is maybe like a middle level team. I wouldn't necessarily say Asgardians go get them right, because there are things you have to do before that. So now if you get like a Mega Orb drop on Hela or something like that, and you can unlock her and use an arena, sure, great. But it is tough. Dark Dimension 1, you could use some of these characters, but again, it requires 6 stars. Top option for spenders is their comment. Very difficult to unlock full team for free-to-play new players, but an excellent overall team to work towards. High value in the endgame, and that's very much true. So aim. Their pro here is no legendary required. Great raid team, Ultimate 6. Meta war team. Meta, I don't know if I'd call them meta. They were used to beat Marauders. And, you know, I didn't mention, these guys are basically all, 3 of them are farmable from campaigns, one's from the arena store, but then you've got Graviton from the war store, which is a very difficult farm. For me personally, that was a big reason why I was not necessarily going to aim, because I don't love the farm in the war store. I think you should be using those war tokens on mini uniques. So that's why I kind of go away from these guys a little bit. The cons, poor arena defense, no legendary or flash event. That's why I'm like, aim. Yeah, they're okay, but, you know, I don't know if that's where I'd go here. And their comments, fairly easy to unlock early game, low resource investments, etc. So 3 minions. So I want to go to their unique, the symbiotes. Personally, you've got Carnage here, who's also War Store. You know, Symbiote Spider-Man is only milestone, so he might be extremely difficult to get. And you've got Venom, who's a campaign. Pro, Shuri unlock, meta. Symbiotes, in my mind, are meta. Meta War Team. They're definitely good. They can, when used right, beat Hydra, beat Asgardians, beat Captain Marvels. You know, the Young Avengers are probably going to be problematic in war here with bigger Squirrel Girls. I think that this team can help do that. Elite Raids, absolutely. Elite Dark Dimension 2, Dark Dimension 3, absolutely. Cons, Symbiote Spider-Man, not unfarmable. Very true. Dark Dimension 1 requires Symbiote Spider-Man 6 stars. All have to do with farm. So these guys, if you get good drops on them with a Mega Orb or something along those lines, it's definitely something you want to look at. These guys are great in Dark Dimension 3. I think they're going to be great in raids for a long time to come. They still need 2 more symbiotes to complete this team at some point, which in my mind is going to make this team even better. So I love this team. It's probably my favorite one in the game. Their notes here, only recommended if Symbiote Spider-Man is acquired during his event, free-to-play friendly, flexible team that can be paired with many meta characters. Very true. May drop off an arena mid to late game, also very true. Very high value in endgame. This is very much the case. I love these guys. I recommend if you can. So let's get into what they call their secondary teams. Okay, for their secondary teams, Sinister Six is the first one that we'll jump into. Again, this is the one that my gut tells me I would tell people to focus on. You know, you can get them for obviously the Villains campaign. You've got 2 of them that are farmable, 1 of them that are farmable from Blitz, 1 of them that are farmable from Arena, 1 of them that are farmable from the Raid Store. So no difficult farms here. And you can get 2 legendaries out of that. That to me is kind of like, that's pretty solid. They're a good war offense, or war defense technically team. They can be kind of a pain in the butt. You know, help maybe a little bit in arena early, super early. And I think with Doc Ock coming, that decision would be even more solidified. So let's see what they say for pros and cons here. Pro, Shuri Invisible unlock. They're both great legendaries. No legendary required for any of these guys. Average in arena / war. That's not true. War, I feel like they're going to be a little bit better soon with Doc Ock. Villains and Nexus campaigns. Cons, poor raid team. Totally true. These guys don't exist in raid. So if you need a raid team, it's not these guys. Poor Dark Dimension 1 and 2 options. Also very true. Large T4 ability investment. Also true. They're starting to make me second guess my leaning towards these guys. Not recommended as a primary team. Unlocks 2 legendary characters. I think that's the thing that I really key in on is, you know, you get Shuri, who is critical, and Invisible Woman, who is very helpful. I think that's why I tend to lean towards these guys. But it is a poor raid team. Can do well in arena and war depending on matchups. Low value in endgame. That's true, but I think the value in endgame for war is about to go up with Doc Ock. Fantastic Four, there is a legendary here. You've got the farmable and the Blitz, arena, campaign, and raid. So again, not crazy farms there. The pro here is a meta war team. It's totally true. One of the most critical teams you need to have on war offense, which is the primary focus that you should have in war. Defense is important, but you got to have offense teams to knock out those defense teams. That goes probably without saying, but anyway. Good in early arena. Okay, yeah, I can maybe see that. I did not use these guys at any point except for Invisible Woman in arena. Human Torch maybe could touch that a little bit with if you got him high enough, but he is a glass cannon. Heroes and Cosmic Campaigns, which is nice. Cons, no legendary or flash event. Poor raid team, extremely poor raid team. Dark Dimension 1 requires 6 stars, so Sinister 6 to get, you know, the Invisible Woman. So you have to have all of those Sinister 6 at 6 star to get her at 6 star. Not a true starter team, but a strong secondary mid game. Incredibly good on war offense and can do well in early arena. Invisible Woman can be used in endgame, medium high value in endgame. So that's pretty true. I do like them on war offense, and I still, even though their cons really started swaying me away from Sinister 6, I don't hate that team as an early team so far. They also have Supernatural on here, which is 3 campaign nodes, which though I think a couple of those are a bit later, and then 2 arena store teams or tunes. I like Supernatural for some more offense counters, but they are more limited than Fantastic Four. So be careful with this team as before we talk about the pros and cons. They've got their benefits, but they also, I'm not sure you're going to love them. They also are a very heavy T4 investment. No legendary required, great for arena. I think they're probably okay for arena. Ghost Rider would be fantastic. Meta War Team, true. Dark Dimension 1 viable. I didn't run it with them, so I can't say for certain. But I feel like they'd have a hard time there, but we'll see. Dark Dimension 3, Ghost Rider only. Yeah, and even that, he's a stretch there, to be honest, because I recommended him and he still gets killed instantly. And with Gear Tier 15 and Dark Dimension 4, I'm not sure I'd use the SBCs on him anymore. Mystic Campaign, the cons, no legendary or flash event. Suspect raid viability, very true there. I would not use these guys in raid at all. Dark Dimension 1, Ghost Rider, and Doctor Strange deeper in campaign. So they say not a true starter team, but a strong secondary mid-game. Performs well in Dark Dimension 1. I don't have any comment on that one. I don't know that for certain. I have to admit I struggle seeing that they do well in Dark Dimension 1, but maybe somebody with experience here has probably actually run them there. I don't want to say that I have because I haven't. Can counter Asgardians in Arena War, which is very true. So that's, to me, where these guys come in. They can beat S.H.I.E.L.D., they can beat Asgardians, they can beat the BKV teams, though AIM crushes them when they're on defense. But anyway, so the last team they've got on here is Brotherhood Marauders. They've got the Brotherhood up top, where you've got 2 Arena star teams. Pyro's a War Store, so that could be difficult. Toad is a Blitz, and Magneto is a legendary that you need X-Men and Brotherhood for. And he is one of the better legendaries in the game. Marauders, you've got a campaign, a raid store, a blitz, another war store, and then Emma Frost come at some point. So Marauders are going to be hard. I wouldn't focus Marauders at all at this point. They are a decent team for war defense, or are about to be. But, and the Brotherhood was a great arena team forever. They got me through arena for so long. So the pros, Magneto unlock, very true. Great arena team for Brotherhood, absolutely true. Meta War Team, both of them are, absolutely. Lots of options, true. You can mix and match them a little bit. Mystique has synergies with Magneto and Sinister, but Sinister you need him up high for him to be really usable. Dark Dimension 2 options, also true. Villain and Nexus campaign. The cons, only raid viable with Mr. Sinister, very true. And honestly, I'm not even sure they're that raid viable. But, maybe with some of the buffs from Strife, and if he can last a little bit, we'll see. Requires Magneto to be effective, 100% true. Those blinds are critical. Missing Magneto unlock sets team back, totally true. Great synergy between these two things, but needs Magneto and Mr. Sinister to be effective in all game modes. Very true, and both of those characters aren't the easiest to get, especially Sinister. Very strong in war and can be great early game arena team. Medium high value in endgame. And I do want to say Mr. Sinister was great in arena for a long time, basically until Black Order came, and he was still decent to beat him early on, but as these Black Order teams get above 450k, it's kind of like basically everybody falls off when you're trying to go against Black Order at that point. But they're good teams, so a pretty solid. Look at some of the teams here that really kind of give you an indication of what to do. Now, some of these things, like you're going to combine arena tunes, more than likely, if you get a good pull on Minerva, Hela, maybe you've got a Magneto in there. You can play around with that in your early modes, and it might matter on what red stars you pull as well, because in that early arena, that's what's going to matter. If you can get Ultron really easy early on, and I know he's fallen off, but if you can get him in that arena, that'll help you come up quick. And arena is key. So anyway, I wanted to give a shout out to Vulture Sauce and these guys. They did a really good job. I like how they're really focusing on some beginner stuff. So I'll put the link in their Discord in the description below. So I hope you guys go check them out, ask some questions. Obviously, I'll have the link to my Discord in the description below. But I wanted to give a special shout out to these guys, kind of showcase their infographic a little bit, and hopefully you guys go check it out. I hope this helps you, figure out maybe where you want to focus. So that's really all I got. So if you enjoy this, hammer down on that like button, notification bell, subscription bell button, whatever it is. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.